A high school boy becomes a girl. 16-year-old Alex had always been the kind of boy who felt like he didn't quite belong. His small size and delicate features were often the subject of ridicule from classmates who labeled him too girly for their liking. It wasn't just the size of his body that set him apart, it was everything about him. His soft voice, his expressive eyes framed by long lashes, the way he didn't seem to fit into the rough and tumble world of other boys. The bullying started as taunts and cruel jokes, but as the years went by, it escalated. By the end of the school year, it had become intolerable, leaving Alex isolated and filled with self-doubt. Each day at his old school felt like a punishment. The whispers in the hallways, the laughter behind his back, the sneering comments about how he should have been born a girl haunted him. But even worse than the bullying was the feeling that, in some strange way, they were right. He had never felt comfortable in his own skin, never quite felt like the boy he was expected to be. But what could he do about it? He couldn't change who he was, or could he? The opportunity for a fresh start came in the form of an unexpected move. Just before the beginning of his junior year, Alex's family relocated to a new town for his father's job. It was a chance to leave the past behind and start over. No one at the new school would know him. No one would know about the bullying, the cruel nicknames, or the sense of alienation that had haunted him for years. Alex decided this was his chance to reinvent himself. But how? One evening, as Alex sat in his room feeling the weight of the upcoming school year pressed down on him, his older sister Emily knocked on his door. Emily had always been his closest confidant, the one person who would stuck by him through everything. She walked in, plopping down on the edge of his bed with a knowing look. "You're nervous about the new school, huh?" she asked, her tone gentle. Alex sighed, nodding. I don't want it to be like before, Em. I don't want to be the freak. I just want to fit in." Emily was quiet for a moment, her eyes thoughtful. Then, almost out of nowhere, she said, "If you really want a fresh start, you could go with someone completely different, like really different." Alex looked at her, confused. "What do you mean?" A small, mischievous smile crept onto Emily's face. "What if you went to the new school as a girl?" At first, Alex blinked, unsure if she was serious. "A girl? Are you kidding?" "No, I'm serious," Emily said, her grin widening. "You've always said you don't feel like you fit in with the guys. What if you didn't have to? What if you could just be Alexa?" The idea sounded outrageous, impossible even. But as soon as Emily said it, something inside Alex shifted, a spark of excitement. The thought of going to school as Alexa, confident, stylish, and completely new, was terrifying but also incredibly tempting. What if, instead of fighting to fit into a world where he didn't belong, he could create a new one? One where he felt more like himself. The more Alex thought about it, the more the idea took root. Over the next few weeks, Emily helped him prepare for his transformation. She taught him everything he needed to know: how to apply makeup, style his hair, pick out outfits that would make him look effortlessly chic. They spent hours together, laughing, experimenting with different looks, and slowly but surely, Alex began to see Alexa emerge in the mirror. On the first day of school, Alex, now Alexa, stood in front of the full-length mirror in her room, her heart pounding in her chest. She wore a simple but fashionable outfit, a soft, flowy blouse tucked into a high-waisted skirt, paired with ankle boots that gave her a few extra inches of height. Her long brown hair, once hidden under a baseball cap, cascaded in soft waves around her shoulders, and her makeup, subtle but expertly applied by Emily, gave her an air of quiet confidence. "Are you ready?" Emily asked, standing in the doorway, beaming with pride at her handiwork. Alexa took a deep breath, smoothing her skirt nervously. "I think so," she said, though her hands were trembling. It was one thing to play dress-up at home, but stepping out into the real world as Alexa was something entirely different. Walking into her new school was both exhilarating and terrifying. The halls were crowded with students, none of whom knew her past, none of whom saw her as the awkward, bully boy from her old school. Here, she was just another girl, new, yes, but confident in her appearance and ready to make a fresh start. To Alexa's surprise, the first few weeks of school went better than she had ever imagined. She quickly made friends with a group of girls in her classes, including Jenna, a bubbly, outgoing fashion enthusiast who was immediately drawn to Alexa's style. Jenna loved to gush over Alexa's outfits, always eager to go shopping together or help pick out clothes for school events. For the first time in years, Alexa felt like she belonged. She wasn't the shy, awkward boy who never fit in. She was Alexa, the stylish, confident girl who had friends, who laughed at lunch, who got invited to hang out after school. The change was more than just physical, it was emotional too. As Alexa, she felt free in a way she never had as Alex. But it wasn't always easy. There were moments of panic, moments when she worried someone would discover her secret. Every day, she had to be careful, adjusting her voice, her posture, her mannerisms, making sure she didn't slip up. The fear of being found out was always there, lurking in the back of her mind, but it wasn't enough to make her stop. Because for the first time in her life, Alexa felt happy. She felt like she was finally becoming the person she was meant to be. As the school year progressed, things became even more complicated. A boy in one of her classes, Ryan, started paying attention to her. He was tall, athletic, and charming in a way that made her stomach flutter. Ryan would find excuses to talk to her between classes, sit next to her at lunch, and eventually started walking her to her next class. His attention was flattering, but it also terrified Alexa. How could she be falling for a boy when she was living a lie? The more time Alexa spent with Ryan, the more confused she became. She liked him, there was no denying that, but the fear of what he might think if he found out the truth loomed over her. Could he ever accept her for who she really was? Did she even know who she really was? The internal struggle intensified as Alexa grew closer to Ryan. They started spending time together outside of school, going to the movies, grabbing coffee, and texting late into the night. Alexa found herself drawn to him in a way she had never experienced before, and the feelings were reciprocated. Ryan was kind, funny, and treated her like she was someone special. But the closer they got, the more Alexa's fear grew. Every moment with Ryan felt like walking a tightrope, balancing between the truth and the lie she had built her new life on. One evening, as Alexa lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, she couldn't shake the weight of her thoughts. She felt trapped between two worlds, between Alex and Alexa, between the boy she had been and the girl she was becoming. The lines were blurring, and she didn't know who she truly wanted to be. A few days later, Emily noticed something was off. She found Alexa sitting on her bed, staring out the window with a pensive look on her face. "Hey," Emily said, sitting beside her. "You've been really quiet lately. What's going on?" Alexa hesitated, unsure how to explain the storm of emotions swirling inside her. "I don't know, Em," she said softly. "I like being Alexa. I like it a lot. But it's getting harder. I don't know if I can keep pretending." Emily frowned, her expression full of concern. "What do you mean?" "I don't think this is just about fitting in anymore," Alexa admitted. "I think I like being Alexa more than I ever liked being Alex. But what if that's not who I really am? What if this is all just pretend?" Emily was quiet for a moment, then reached out and took Alexa's hand. "Maybe it's not about pretending," she said gently. "Maybe this is about figuring out who you are. And that's okay. You don't have to make any decisions right now. But whenever you decide, I'm here for you. Whether you're Alex or Alexa, you're still my sibling, and I'll love you no matter what." Tears welled up in Alexa's eyes as she hugged Emily tightly. Having her sister's support meant everything. It made the impossible seem a little more manageable. As the months passed, Alexa found herself becoming more comfortable in her new identity. The fear of being discovered still lingered, but it didn't control her anymore. She embraced her friendships, her growing confidence, and the happiness that came with being Alexa. She didn't know what the future held, but for now, she was content to keep exploring who she was, whether that meant staying as Alexa or eventually finding a way to reconcile both sides of herself. In the end, Alex wasn't sure if he was meant to be Alexa forever.